Hey guys, welcome back to WrestlingRumors.net Raw Review, presented obviously by WrestlingRumors.net. I am here with Sam Daley at LadyNexus13. I am Adam Daley at AdamDaley13 on Twitter. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out all our new writers too. Drew Goldfinger at New York Jets and a bunch of numbers. I'm sorry, Drew, I didn't get the full numbers. I tweeted them out earlier. Yeah.
Wow.
Derek, it's at Derico06, I believe, like Jericho, but with a D. But it's on the Wrestling Rumors site. Of course, I mean, you know. But check those guys out, please. They're doing a lot of hard work for us. And always the great Chris Walter, too. Make sure you're checking those guys out. And make sure you are doing what else? Just check all of our stuff. I think we're all burnt out from this weekend. Let's face it. We got a lot of wrestling this weekend. I made this a little bit shorter, I trimmed it down a little bit, and we always say that. But Sam, before we get to Raw, I want to say thank you to everybody that joined in on WrestlingRumors.net's Twitter feed tonight. I had a blast with you guys. I think, obviously, if you're watching this and you know this by now, we take more of the comedy side of wrestling. Yes, we do report the news, but we are not as serious as you would typically get. So I think you kind of caught wind of that tonight on Twitter again for my second go-around. Thank you so much. I wanted to give a special shout-out to, and I screen capped it, and I'm just going to say Ms. Hernandez. I hope you're watching at Telegraph Ave. And I love your name on here, by the way. But whenever I tweet it out...
Telegraph Ave?
Well, yeah, but that's us. Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't. But Ms. Hernandez. It was funny. I tweeted out that picture of Large Marge's face on Undertaker's thing. And she went out, she's like, trigger alert. And I was like, I felt so bad. And then obviously it was a big joke. So I hope you're watching. Shout out. That made me laugh. It was one of those moments on... Mm-hmm. Again, that's why I do this. It ain't about the money. It's about sending a message. All right, Sam. Let's get to Raw tonight. And we're just gonna overall, letter grade the entire weekend. Started the show. Lesnar Taker being the focal point. Paul Heyman cutting a promo saying he has material for 3 hours. Heyman has material for days. Let's face it. It's not just 3 hours. And would you be opposed to a 3-hour Heyman Raw?
No, never.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Why would they even tease us with that?
And
come on, Paul Heyman.
Promo is getting to the point is Lesnar wants Taker. Make it happen. They wanted to make it happen tonight. Bo Dallas comes out, trolling Bo as always. And then Bo Dallas just gets decimated. Completely destroyed. Lesnar goes to leave, goes back, leaves, comes back again.
And
Poor Bo Dallas.
Apparently, according to the internet, Bo Dallas is dead.
Bo Dallas,
all over Wikipedia, Bo Dallas died today. So
what made me laugh about this and is Wikipedia kept changing it and people kept going in and changing it back, and it would be reworded differently every time,
just in different sections.
It
of his
was
bio.
so funny. But of course the internet. But listen. I also enjoy little things like that too. I get a kick out of it. So
I thought it was really funny how Brock Lesnar just kind of went out, destroyed him, started to walk away, went back, was like, nope, I'm not done. Did it again. Great. Walked away again, then it came back again.
Now, let me ask this. Do you think this was a great way to open the show to really get the crowd engaged, especially after there was a lot of sour tastes in a lot of people's mouths?
Controversy after last
Correct,
night.
Right. So do you think starting off out of the gates like that, not only giving the fans what they want in Paul Heyman and seeing Brock Lesnar just toss somebody around for a good 5 minutes, but it really kind of set the crowd on fire a little bit.
Yeah.
Did they need to do that, or do you think... When you really, because I went back and watched some of the matches on SummerSlam. I do want to watch a couple of the other ones before we do our fan feedback on Thursday. And, there's a lot of them where on second glance, better than what I thought. I think we were a little bit harsh. I think maybe it's just a long weekend. So, do you, at the end of the day, I do think there was a lot of just wasted arrows, so to speak, last night being shot. Because going back today, there was a lot, and I actually loved the way Taker and Lesnar finished. Watching it a second time today, giving it a day, sleeping on it, love it. And I know that but after I slept on it, woke up, watched it again, was like, okay, no, this is killer. Mm-hmm. This is killer. I like what they're doing. Now, here's a question though: when do we see this match?
I would say Night of Champions.
Well, let me pitch an idea to you. A lot of people would say Rumble. A lot of people would say WrestleMania. A lot of people would say, Heyman was talking about this. Mm-hmm. Why not Hell in a Cell in Los Angeles in October?
I like that idea. Taker's supposed to be the best at the Hell in a Cell.
It would make sense. I think it would make sense, and it would be a nice way to end the trilogy of these matches. And do we really even need that big of a storyline if it is a Hell in a Cell match?
Not really.
Once again, these two men just sell themselves. And I think that's the important thing is we don't really need a storyline with these guys. And in a way, why we may have needed that screwy finish as much as we did or did not like it. Because this is going to set up for that rubber match probably in Hell in a Cell. If I'm a betting man, which I'm not because the Super Bowl that the Titans were in, I lost a lot of money and I never bet again. So
yeah, I mean, I would just think that it would be a pay-per-view that's sooner, not later.
I agree. And it's not going to be WrestleMania.
Yeah,
it's by no means is it going to be
it's got to be a lot sooner than then.
I agree. So now let's skip to Seth Rollins' little road that he went down tonight, so to speak. Starting off with him at headquarters with Triple H saying, we're going to get you this statue. We're going to get you the statue. At least it said it was earlier in the day at Stanford, or maybe I just made that up. I'm not sure. But I thought it said that in the corner. It started. I was in a rush. Anyway, so they talk about the statue. We're going to have this big unveiling. They show the statue, which was kind of funny. And I was getting a kick out of the comments we got underneath it. That it looked like Shawn Michaels. It looked like Jesus. It looked like there were so many funny comments. It kind of did. A lot of good points too were made that the United States Championship was just like
it was blank.
Yeah, it was just like blank.
It was blank. It was like not finished or something.
And maybe there was a little foreshadowing to that too.
Maybe
potentially. So
are they going to change the championship?
No, talking about Sting.
Oh,
yeah, talking about Sting WCW. So let's see. But so obviously we get to see the Rollins statue. I did like it, although it looked like a giant thing of chocolate that you would just peel the thing off of and eat. But I still got a kick out of it because at least they showed it, and it was as cheesy and as delightful as what I thought it would be.
It was awesome. I actually saw this from work. I was just getting off work at a bar, and I was watching it as I was like finishing up, and I was marking out. And all these customers were like looking at me like, "Why is she going crazy over a statue of some dude?" I was like, you don't understand.
Yeah,
it's so
like you don't
awesome.
get it.
I can't believe they did it.
You don't get it.
I loved it.
So then we cut to a segment later on where Jon Stewart explains his actions, saying that it wasn't about Seth Rollins, and it was more about Ric Flair and Ric Flair's legacy, and him not being able to accept the fact that anybody could tie Ric Flair.
And of course, Ric Flair comes out.
Here comes Ric Flair. Ric Flair and Jon Stewart, like charisma level 5,000. You have John Cena now coming out, charisma level. Now you're at like 10,000. I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of talent in that ring. Yeah. When you're talking John Cena, Ric Flair, Jon Stewart, let's all put our personal feelings aside. Listen, I'm not the biggest Cena fan as characters, guys, obviously, because we get the serious people in from time to time. We keep it somewhat kayfabe here, guys. We respect all the superstars. We're talking characters. Anyway, just had to get that out there. Do you did you like this spot? Like, cause let's face it, I'm not a big Cena fan. A huge Flair fan. I'm a huge Jon Stewart fan. Some people don't like Flair. Some people don't like Stewart. But I think no matter who, I think this was just a fantastic segment. I thought it was unreal.
I thought it was great.
And I put this on Twitter too. I think the biggest thing for this is Stewart eating the AA, a vicious AA.
Yeah.
It looked like Cena threw him down a little harder than he would throw a normal superstar down. But this is Jon Stewart living out his dream, guys. You're seeing somebody that was probably put in a world that you get trapped into it. It's a job, and it probably gets old real quick. And do it for 16 years. And now being able to just live out a life dream, having your son there who's a big John Cena fan, getting to see your dad AA'd by John Cena. I know a lot of to me as a Jon Stewart fan, as a fan of wrestling, as a fan of just the big picture, I thought that this was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. I ate it up, and I'd see Stewart get AA'd every week. I would, and I'm a Stewart mark. So I mean, what did you think about it though?
I mean, I did the same thing as you did. I ate it up. I loved it. Jon Stewart is obviously going to be good on the microphone. He's going to be a good talker. That's what he does for a living. It was amazing. I don't know. I loved it. And, of course, John Cena being the heel, not heel, attacks Jon Stewart, by the way. Him
and Taker are acting very heelish, aren't they?
Yes, they
Taker
are.
With all his low blows. But, again, it's the reality era. So I guess maybe the more... And that's always the debate is, are gray area characters good? Because, it's okay, I think, to have a couple. But when you start to have everybody gray, but again, it's that back and forth crowd response.
But, I mean,
there's an argument on both sides that I agree with.
You want it to be the reality era. That is reality. Everyone's in the gray. everyone has a little bit of good and evil in them.
That's the truth.
If it's really the reality era, then everybody should be in the gray.
There you go.
There shouldn't really be any heel or faces at all then.
There you go. Now, so after this, it looks like John Cena now is getting a police escort out of the arena. He will no longer be at Raw for the rest of the night. So it looks like Seth Rollins in the statue unveiling ceremony, it looks like it's going to happen. It's going to go out pretty flawlessly, correct?
Basically. Okay,
we all know that's not going to happen. So everyone, and I loved some of the guesses that we were getting on social media through Twitter tonight too, guys. Thank you so much. I was cracking up all night long. The big, I guess, favorites going in seemed to be that the statue was already going to be beat up. It was either going to be Cena somehow sneaking his way back in, Kane or Sting. Ends up being Sting, guys, and it's official. It was after WWE Network. You guys know this already. We're not telling you anything you don't know. Sting versus Seth Rollins at Night of Champions for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. How do you feel about that?
I don't like it. I don't know. I might be in the I'm not the majority, but
the minority.
The minority, yes. Thank you. I might be in the minority here, but I don't really like it. I mean, it just seems so random. I felt like from out of nowhere, like, it's Night of Champions. What did Sting do to get a match for Seth Rollins, who now has 2 championships?
He pissed off the Authority. He's a thorn in Triple H's side, and wouldn't he be an even bigger thorn?
But...
Hold on, though. Wouldn't he even be a bigger thorn in Triple H's side if he defeated Seth Rollins, became WWE champion, and then of course we'd probably see Sheamus. That's where Sheamus cashes in. I'm not saying that night, but that's who he would cash in on. But even if for only a night, because then that's where, if this friction is going to happen between, if and when it's going to happen between Seth Rollins and Triple H, I mean, him dropping the title to Sting would create it's an instant divide. And I'm not saying I want that or that's what's going to happen. Food for thought, though.
You kind of just sold me on that, so...
I'm not saying that. Now, here's where I'm at with that. I think that it would give Sting a WWE championship that he does not have. Again, we know titles don't mean anything, they're props. But if that's the case, why do they try and change history all the time? So, but I think it would... And I'm not a fan of Sting. I was never a Sting fan. I respect Sting. I love Sting. I love Steve Borden. But I was never like a Sting mark. You know what I mean? But I would like to see him get one WWE champion. And this is a very, very polarizing issue right now on social media, because people are either extremely happy or extremely unhappy. Because the big argument right now is, do we really need to see a 60-year-old man wrestling for the WWE championship? Yeah. I don't know Sting's actual age. I didn't look it up. He might be 60. He might be younger than that. I'm not sure.
He'll be in his 50s.
But would you, if that was the scenario, and again, guys, we're saying ifs here. I'm not saying that's the route they're going to go. Would you be okay with it, even if it was for a day or a month or that night? And Sheamus, because if Sheamus is going to cash in and get the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, it would almost make sense. It would be to give Sting that rub, that one title that he doesn't have. You know what I mean? Would you be okay with that, or is that, to you, is that cheap?
I like the idea that you were pitching earlier. That I said you really sold me on, with the whole having Sting take it off of him, and then having Sheamus come out as Plan B to cash it in and take it back off Sting, and that creates friction between Seth Rollins and Triple H, and there you go with your Triple H Seth Rollins feud. But really, other than that, I don't really see.
I can't.
I don't know.
That's the only way I can see this. Because what does this do for Sting going forward?
Yeah.
That's, if he doesn't get the championship, sans a screwy finish, and that's going to be what it's up to. What kind of finish did we get out of it? And granted, guys, now we have weeks to the story's going to be told. But right now, from a booking standpoint, I can't think how it would be advantageous to, unless it's just another person to put in Rollins, and that way Rollins got through not only Cena but Sting, and it's just you keep putting name after name after name.
Maybe that's why I'm just not that into it or excited about it, because I know going in that it's probably going to end in a screwy finish. Because I can't really see them giving the belt to Sting. I can't.
You know what though? The two screwy finishes we had last night paid off in spades tonight.
It did.
It's rare that it happens, but I think Raw tonight was excellent. I mean, the whole show was excellent. So, guys, at Night of Champions, we do have the Icon, or is he the Icon now? What are they called? The Vigilante, the Icon, the man they call Sting. Now, another big headline, we have a new Wyatt member. Guys, if you don't know who he is Braun Strowman, 6'8", 385 pounds of monster.
The black sheep.
I was going to say the black sheep. And I do think he was a Rosebud for a while.
He was the Gladiator Rosebud.
I think he was in the...
He was always in a Gladiator
He was a Rosebud,
suit.
I think, every once in a while. What did you think?
I thought it was great.
Because this is actually where you walked in, was to the little screen thing, and then you were like, her exact words were, "What the fuck is going on?" And yeah, there he is in a black mask.
He definitely fits in with the Wyatts.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's definitely got the Wyatt look. He's a lot bigger than Luke Harper.
Yes.
Rowan, probably.
Yes, I would agree with that.
I don't know. I think it was a big addition to the Wyatt family.
Former strongman. I'll tell you what, he is a monster. Mm-hmm. And I think, like you said, he fits them well. Which, granted, they're going to have anybody that joins have a giant beard. I mean, they're going to make sure that they fit that mold well. But he just has that look. Yeah. And he's just got... Because it's not that chiseled look, it's not that perfect look. It's that outlaw renegade. Just like Kevin, it goes back to the whole Kevin Owens thing. It's the dude in the bar. Well, no, this dude's 6'8", 385. You're never going to look at this dude and think he ain't going to whoop somebody's ass. But I'm talking about, people that say, well, Kevin Owens doesn't look like a superstar. And usually, guys, it's like the ones out of your friends that, you don't think that would take out an entire bar. It's like the ones that aren't chiseled. It's the ones that, I always say one of my buddies that I know would probably beat up the most chiseled dude in the bar because I've seen him do it on multiple occasions. Mm-hmm. And he, is similar build-up. But that's that Wyatt style, and... I think that because all their imperfections make that stable so perfect.
Yeah.
See what I did there? Damn it. I'm either getting delirious or I'm just getting better as the weekend goes on. I think more on the delirious side, so we're going to go on there. But another big moment of the night, Xavier Woods playing the trombone. The man's fantastic. Multi-talented. He can do it all. I believe he's playing taps. Obviously, I'm joking, guys. New Day getting the big win over Lucha Dragons. I don't know if it's a big win, but it's a big win because of the big return of the big tag team that we know, the Dudley Boyz. Dudley Boyz making a huge WWE return. We saw Bubba Ray at the Royal Rumble this year. Finally got to see Devon testify. Sam, what do you think about the Dudleys being back?
I was excited. I marked the fuck out, just like everybody else in the wrestling world did, I believe.
Social media went nuts. And now let me ask this question, because the big rumor was that potentially we were going to see Big Cass and Enzo debut on the roster. No, we didn't get that, and I'll say this. I'm going to preface this by saying this. I do think it's better that they didn't debut, because I think with the tag team tournament that's going on in NXT, that's going to benefit them so much more for right now. But I'll ask you anyway. What do you like, the Dudleys coming back, or would you have rather seen Enzo and Big Cass?
I marked out for the Dudleys.
Come on. I mean, this is a no-brainer. Yeah, this is a no-brainer. Different. I think, I guess to some extent I get with Sting, because I can see why that's where people are either, there's nobody on the fence with that. You either love it or hate it. I think in this situation, pretty much everybody's on board. I didn't see one person, and everybody, all the responses that, the feedback I got, everybody was excited, and not only excited, I'm talking super stoked. Mm-hmm. I popped, and the funny thing is, and this is just a behind the scenes, not really, guys, and just whatever. So I'm going up to the TV to take a picture of Xavier Woods playing the trombone, and all of a sudden the pyro goes off, and I'm like, so now I'm marking out. So the pictures that were a little bit blurry, guys, on Wrestling Rumors Twitter feed tonight, I'm sorry. That's because I was actually walking up to the television to get a picture of Xavier Woods playing the trumpet in ring after the match, and then all of a sudden was too excited and was shaking while I was trying to take the picture of the Dudley Boyz when they came out. So that's a little behind the scenes, but yeah, I completely popped for being an old school ECW fan that used to see him at the CCBC Golden Dome here in Monaca, Pennsylvania, for since 1996, 97 with my boys back in the day. Never missed a show. Seen some crazy stuff. There was even an all-you-can-eat wings thing back at this place called Boots in Rochester, Pennsylvania, that went to the McGuire home. I mean, the Dudleys and ECW used to do a lot of good things for this area. Long story short, being a fan for so long, through everything else that happened tonight, I might have popped for this more than anything. And there was a lot of really memorable moments tonight.
Yeah, that was a really good Raw. You can't really complain about it.
Not at all. Now, Diva Revolution on Miz TV. Let's hit that up real quick. Charlotte said, my big thing is what I liked about it. Charlotte said they want to take on anyone. They're going to take on any diva. They'll take on any man. We see, and it ends up being a big skirmish between Team PCB and the Team Bella. Miz is kind of just stuck in between them. You lucky, lucky man, you. And let's just keep it 100 for a second. And Sam, then we get the 6 Diva tag match after that. What did you think about the Divas Revolution spot tonight?
I thought it was a good spot with what happened in the ring. My one complaint was with the crowd during the whole time. Paige
mentioned this on Twitter too, yes.
Because instead of embracing what they had going on in the ring, which is what everyone's been asking for, they just decided to chant Sasha Banks the entire time. And when they weren't doing that, they were doing the wave.
Well, so, I mean, the Sasha thing, though, that would tie in with the Divas Revolution. I think it was more the wave.
I understand because I know that people were upset because they were chanting Sasha Banks the entire time. I didn't notice they were only chanting Sasha Banks really whenever Nikki Bella was out, or the Bella twins were out, or were talking, or had the upper hand in the ring. Still,
being honest, guys, and here's the thing: a lot of the feedback,
Charlotte or Paige or Becky, they're the ones that are actually in the ring right now.
And that's what I noticed is a lot of the feedback that I received tonight is the whole Divas Revolution. That's why I asked the question, because I really wanted to get your guys' feedback, for this show tonight, and then obviously we're gonna have another one later this week, but I really wanted to see where you guys were feeling with the Divas Revolution. And the biggest, I asked the pros and cons. The biggest con that I've seen and is just that the Bellas are still involved.
Yeah.
And
that's really the only complaint.
And I am going to play devil's advocate at one point. It's not going to be on this show. I want to keep this a little bit shorter. And I am going to defend the Bellas, and especially Alicia Fox, because Foxy doesn't deserve having, that kind of stuff. Now, I will agree with you, though. It does seem to be that this is happening more when the Bellas are in there. Mm-hmm. But I completely agree with you. Chant for the women that are out there. Chant for... Although Sasha, I totally dig them chanting for Sasha.
I understand that everyone wants Sasha to replace Nikki. Trust me, I get it, because so do I. But whenever Paige and Becky Lynch and Charlotte are out there, chant for them, because they're also really, really good.
But let me ask you a question, though. And you know what? Before... I'm not going to ask... I'm not going to answer this, because it's funny that everybody that... And I'm glad the women are speaking out about this, because right now there's a lot of people that are saying, well, no, they're saying sour, that's sour grapes from them. But yet at the Royal Rumble 2014, when it was John Cena versus Randy Orton, and everybody was chanting, "We want divas" during that WWE Undisputed Championship, World Heavyweight Championship match, and instead of paying attention to that match, people were chanting, we want divas." People were chanting for everything but Cena or Orton. Mm-hmm. All the insiders are the ones that blew up. You're so disrespectful to the industry. You're so this, you're so that. It was, and it wasn't the fans that were doing it. It wasn't the talent in the ring that was doing it. It wasn't, But on this one, you have these women calling fans out, which I totally agree with. That's not sour grapes.
Yeah.
That is not sour grapes, because you can't say that it's sour grapes when you're throwing the same stones when it's men in there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If it's happening a year and a half ago at a Royal Rumble, because we're tired of seeing John Cena and Randy Orton, and people are chanting a year and a half ago that we want divas. And Orton did do a pretty sweet pose when they were doing that, though. I mean, he did, But that's where I think that, when Paige is speaking out like this, and, I feel her frustration, And I think that when people are saying, oh, well, it's sour grapes, that's just them whining. No, it isn't. Because when people were doing it to the men, you had men saying, shut up, fans. So,
yeah,
let the women defend themselves. That's all I'm saying. So... and real quick, I don't want to say this. There was a big, everyone was very, very concerned about Kevin Owens and the potentially booking for him going forward. Obviously, tonight wasn't a good capture of what we're going to get going forward, because it was more of a house show, 8-man tag match style booking. But let's face it, guys. This was the biggest weekend for WWE all year. And it wasn't WrestleMania, because you had NXT Brooklyn, you had SummerSlam, mm-hmm. you had Raw. You had Barclays sold out 3 straight nights.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens was featured on all 3 shows, and in very high spots. Main event at NXT Brooklyn, next to last match, and I get it, sometimes that's the whatever match, but fantastic match with Cesaro. on SummerSlam. And I know tonight it's limited and everything like that, but all 3 shows.
Yeah. All 3
shows. Now going forward, we'll see what happens, but I don't think Kevin Owens isn't going anywhere anytime soon, guys. And it's not something. I really think there's just some patience right now that we have to understand. We want it right now, but I think in my personal opinion, I could be wrong because again, I'm wrong 30 times a day. I think there's a very long-term plan in place, and I think that if we would just sit back and not be as critical and just enjoy the product, I thoroughly enjoyed Raw tonight.
So did I.
And in hindsight, going back on SummerSlam, I really did enjoy SummerSlam a little bit more. And just like right before, as we were cutting off,
I was thinking about that too today. There was so much hype build up to it. I was just kind of let down because it wasn't as great as I thought that it was going to be. Because I thought it was going to be something incredible.
Now, if we missed something on Raw you want us to talk about, let us know in the comments for fan feedback. Now, before we go, guys, Sam, huge weekend. We had a lot of wrestling. I know you guys are tired of looking at us. Me. I know you're not tired of looking at her. I know you're tired of looking at me by now. What was, just real quick, while we got about 5 minutes, what was your favorite quick couple moments of the weekend?
My favorite moment was the Undertaker Lesnar look
the laughing.
exchange.
Yeah. Oh, the pictures and everything that came from that were so obviously, guys. You saw us having fun with that tonight. And you know what? For me, I think it was a nice. I think it was. We got a great appetizer with NXT Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. Maybe the main course wasn't exactly what we wanted, but sometimes
delicious.
Sometimes when you go out to a fancy restaurant, it's not exactly what you think. But I thought dessert was fantastic. So if we're looking at a 3-course meal, baby, I dug the whole weekend. I thought we really got a good weekend out of it. What do you?
No, I agree. I thought it was good. NXT was amazing. Raw was amazing, and SummerSlam was. We thought it was going to be incredible, but it was still good. It was
on second watch. It was better than first watch. Now I will admit though I didn't watch the first half of it again, and I do want to go back and watch the Ambrose that match because I'll admit I did miss some of that match because I was still coming down from the euphoria of Jon Stewart helping Seth Rollins as I fanboyed out twice. For me, that's like when Jay-Z did a collaboration with Linkin Park. You know what I mean? That's like, you have to understand that for me, guys. That's like 2 things that I love coming together coming together as one. That's like when Maynard does stuff with Rage Against the Machine, Maynard from Tool. So that's, if I can compare and contrast. Sam, so guys, please, feedback, questions, comments, what you guys thought about Raw, what you guys thought about our show tonight, anything you guys have to say, please leave it in the comments below. Like us on Facebook, put your comments in Facebook or YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter at WrestleRumors. Sam, real quick, and I know they're sick of us, but we have on Thursday, we have one more show where, of course, we're going to do feedback again for you guys.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't ever call me Shirley. Guys, for everybody at WrestlingRumors.net, thank you so very much. No matter where you're at in the world, no matter how you're watching us, where you're watching us, thank you for spending some time with us. We know there's a million different ways you can be doing it. We appreciate it. We love you for it. And we will see you on Thursday for fan feedback. Thanks.